Hello, Satnam. It's me, Shakti Sundari, and back with you today for day 4 of Embrace Your Shakti. Um, Super happy to be back. I've been really enjoying doing this live stream series this week, and I'm also feeling so much better today. So, woo! It's great to be feeling more back to myself. Welcome to you as you join this live stream tonight. Really good theme, the Goddess Growth Path. So, for those of you who don't know me, welcome and hello. I'm Shakti Sundari. I'm a priestess of love and sacred sexuality. I'm a teacher of Kundalini yoga, ecstatic dance, and embodied awareness. And I'm very passionate about empowering women. And that's why I'm offering this live stream. And I've been doing that all this week. So, day 4 today. Day 1, we covered what is Shakti and why should I care? Day 2, we covered what are the qualities of Shakti. Day 3, which was yesterday, we explored how do I tap into my Shakti power and energy. And so then we're moving on from that today to talk about the Goddess Growth Path. So just having a quick look to see who's here tonight. Hello, Al. Hello, James. Hi, Pauline. And Fiona. Hi, Roxanne. So welcome. As I say at the top of all of the videos, I am speaking primarily to women, so men, if I use a term or a phrase that doesn't feel inclusive, I do apologize. My work is aimed at serving women who are awakening, but of course the awakening Shakti is rising within all of us, men and women, so of course what I say will apply to a lot. Hi, Roxanne. It's really nice to see the comments. It makes me feel like you're there and I'm not just talking to avoid. Okay, yeah. Just before we get going, if there's anything that you want to just feed back from the last three sessions, feel free to type any comments and I'll keep an eye on those as I keep talking. Just anything that has arisen for you or anything you feel to share before we start. And then as you do that, I'm going to just say what's going to happen tonight. So tonight's video, as with all the other videos, we're going to start with a short practice. So that's a way for us to connect in with ourselves, with the energy of Shakti, and with one another. Then I'm going to go on to my sharing, which is about the Goddess Growth Path. There'll be time for some questions. And also tonight at the end of this live stream, I will spend just 5 minutes or so talking about my Awakening Shakti online group program, which is starting at the end of this month, just to give a little bit of information about that and ways that you can be in contact with me if that's of interest. So just one request, please turn off your phones. Make sure that you're present as long as you're with me. If you have to go, of course you do. And if you want to take notes, have your notebook and pen handy. So just, hello, hi, welcome. All right, so tonight we're going to start again with a little bit of a shape before we go into a sounding practice and another form of movement. Again, these are just little tasters of the kinds of practices that I do in my work and my workshops, but they are genuine practices. And as somebody fed back to me yesterday after yesterday's practice, she took it and went and did the practice this morning in her garden, and it was really quite powerful for her. So don't underestimate what we're doing, even if we're just doing it for a short amount of time. These are powerful practices. So let's get on up. Oh, I forgot to see if the way I've set my computer up will make you be able to see me, but let's see what happens. We're going to stand up and let's see, is there space? Because my head can be cut off. All right, there's space. So we did this yesterday, so I'm not going to talk too much about the how of it, but I'm going to do it with you. So ground yourself, feet hip width or a little bit wider than hips apart. Sink down into the base of your body, soften your hips, open the soles of the feet to the ground, spread your toes. Let the arms dangle from the shoulders And then we're just going to close the eyes and begin to shake. So let the mouth be open. You don't want to be locking the jaw while you're doing this. You want the jaw to be nice and relaxed and the face and the body to be nice and relaxed. And we're just going to go for it. So closing your eyes, softening your knees, and just pushing down. You might begin by making this intentional that you're pushing down into the earth, but then perhaps eventually you don't need to do that because a little bit of the shake will take over and begin to shake your body quite naturally in its own way, just allowing the energy from the earth to move through your body. And if it feels like you're making something happen, that's fine. You can even exaggerate it if you feel like you want to get rid of the energy of the day. Sometimes it's quite good fun to kind of play with the kind of overdoing it, shaking a little bit louder, making some sounds, moving your shoulders and your head. But just stay rooted through your feet. Make sure there's softness in the legs and relaxation through the whole body. Shake off, and shake yourself back into this moment. Just a little bit more. Any sounds that want to come, let them come. It's such a good way to release. It really is. Even within a few minutes. Okay, and that's it for now. And then we're going to come sitting down. We're going to come sitting down. See, it's fun to shake, isn't it? Take a moment to get comfortable in your sitting. Closing your eyes, allow yourself to breathe fully and deeply. The body can keep moving if it wants to, so don't make yourself rigid and stiff in any way. So body should stay relaxed. This is really good. And as you sit, eyes closed, breathing fully and deeply, relaxing into the energy in your body, your aliveness, any movement that wants to happen. I'm just going to invite you to then initiate a spiraling movement from the very base of your spine. So in Kundalini Yoga, we call this the Sufi grind. So we are spiraling the tail around the base of the body, as if we're drawing a little circle on the ground beneath us, holding onto your knees. So this is if you're sitting on the floor, cross-legged. If you're sitting on a chair, you can do the same movement. We're just creating a bit of a spiral, letting the movement come from the solar plexus down, especially. So the tail is circling, as if you're stirring the energy in the pot of the yoni and womb space. Yeah, keep spiraling. You can have your eyes closed. There's nothing that you need to see right now. So that way you can really connect more in with your own embodied experience and your own internal energy. So keep going. And anybody who's feeling a bit mystified, I'm just going to show you how I do it. So this is the movement. Drawing a circle around from the solar plexus. But the circle that the tail makes is very tiny. The circle that the solar plexus makes is bigger. And just spiraling around. Good, so just continue. And as we spiral, this will feed in what I'm going to talk to shortly. just going to invoke the energy of Maha Shakti, so of the great divine Mother Shakti goddess. You can join in if you know it, or if it begins to resonate for you, and if not, does not matter. So this is a mantra. Hrim, Shrim, Klim, Parameshwari Swaha. 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 Keep going. Hrim, Shrim, Klim, Parameshwari Swaha. I'm just going to post that into the comments if you want to see how it's spelled. Sometimes that's helpful. Hrim, Shrim, Klim, Parameshwari Swaha. Hrim, Shrim, Klim, Parameshwari Swaha. Hrim, Shrim, Klim, Parameshwari Swaha. And as you circle now, just reversing the direction so we balance out, begin to spiral back the other way. Hrim, Shrim, Klim, Parameshwari Swaha. 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 And then just make this your last circle. Inhale to the center. Exhale and just rest with long, deep breaths. Keep your eyes closed. Hrim, Shrim, Klim, Parameshwari Swaha. 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 Breathing, being, resting, deepening into your own presence and your own sense of awareness within your body. And then just visualizing in your mind's eye our group, whether is gathered here now, sitting in circle together. And you are part of that circle. Take a deep breath in. Exhale with a sigh or a sound. And just move the body a little bit. Any way that the body feels to move. And then just bring yourself back into the space. And welcome to those who have joined us. Hi, Susie. And hi, says. Is that how you say it? Okay. So, the goddess growth path. I'm going to spend a short amount of time talking about my own story and then more time talking about the different facets of the goddess growth path that I've identified. Of course, I won't have time to go into great depth about each of them because there's quite a few, but I'll do my best to speak to each of those points and or to answer any questions that come up and just to sort of go with the flow of what really feels that it wants to be spoken. So, when I started to think about how to condense talking to you about my own growth path into about 5 minutes, it's really not that long. There was I kept going back through the timeline of my life and thinking, well, I could start there, or I could start there, I could start there, or I could start there. And in a way, if I follow the timeline back, I guess really it begins with the moment that I was conceived and chose to be born. Notice my choice of words, and chose to be born to the family and to the parents that I have. As with all of us, there are what should I say, woundings or patterns and programmings that are a result of the choice of parents that I made as a soul, that I contracted with, and it took me a long time to see and to realize the power of that choice. But actually, I wouldn't be sitting here now doing what I'm doing had I not made that choice. So that's how I now choose to perceive things, and how I would teach others to perceive their own timelines. So my childhood was very free. I grew up in a culture and society that was quite sexually open. I grew up in Germany. I was living right in the midst of nature, and I was a very vibrant, confident, energetic, playful young child, full of creativity, intelligence, physical strength, deep connection to nature and to my own Shakti energy, but not knowing that's what it was, and to my innocent sexuality. When it came to my adolescence, things kind of went in a really distorted way. At that point, something was happening in my parents' relationship that was very difficult, and so I was living in the midst of constant drama and conflict at home. At the same time, my sexuality woke up, and at the same time as that, my spiritual yearning woke up, and I had this deep desire to know God and to find meaning and purpose and love in life. And so there was all this conflict going on, many different strands. So I joined a church and became a devout Christian. I lived within this dramatic conflict zone at home, where I was the mediator between my mother and father. So mother, the typical victim; father, the typical patriarch, dominator, controller, right? So that whole abusive dynamic was playing itself out, and I was the mediator between masculine and feminine. And at the same time, there was this whole feeling for me of suddenly being abandoned, of not being good enough, of not being seen, of my boundaries being overridden constantly, and of a very tricky, codependent family structure, I guess. I didn't know any of this. It took me a very, very long time to recognize this is what was happening, a very long time. I went on to have a very successful university time, a very successful corporate career. I used to work for one of the top management consultancies in the UK, well, internationally. And then I went into academia and gained a master's in social anthropology and began a PhD in social anthropology, and I, curiously enough, specialized in gender studies. But there was always something within me that wasn't feeling right. So fast forward to me being 39 and in my second marriage and pregnant with my second child. I had taken up a dance practice called the Near Technique, which is a conscious, expressive dance form that blends martial arts, healing arts, and embodied awareness techniques. And when I did my teacher training, my first level, I did 3 levels of teacher training in this practice. That was where I can pinpoint the very first moment. So I was 6 weeks pregnant with my second child, and I remember during the teacher training, after one class, lying on the floor and having an experience that was like the most blissful orgasm I'd ever experienced in my whole life. in my body simply as a result of this dance practice. I turned to a friend and I said, wow, that was better than an orgasm, that was better than sex. And from there, my growth path, the one that I'm on now, began. My marriage unraveled. I went into like 4.5 years of not having any sexual contact with my husband. And then at the same time, so lots of contrasts, in the giving birth to my second child, I had the first experience of really feeling empowered as a woman and connecting to the energy of Kali as I gave birth. And again, that was another phase of initiation for me that I didn't fully recognize. I was living in the States to the UK in 2006, and since that time, I have been on a journey of healing, of transformation, of awakening, of integration. So since, teacher training 2003, coming back to the UK in 2006, my second marriage in tatters, single parents, no money, no friends, nothing, and starting my life again and thinking, what the fuck have I done? What the heck is going on here? I need to figure it out. It's been a very long journey for me, but as I began to learn and heal, so I began to teach. And of course, as a wounded healer, I taught what I needed to learn, and I studied what I needed to learn, and I continued to process and grow and heal through many different modalities: yoga, tantra, ecstatic dance, Reiki, body work. All of these things began to weave themselves more and more into my being and into my teaching and into who I was. And then this whole kind of having many lovers and relationships and exploring myself in the crucible of relationship, and some very, very painful experiences that were, as I now see them, calls to awaken deeper, to see my own shadow deeper, to become the love that I was seeking, because really I recognized I was eternally searching for the love that I am, but I just didn't know that, and I kept looking outside myself for love, for validation, for value, for guidance. And even when I thought I'd got it, even when I thought I was there, I wasn't really. And it's not like I'm going to sit here and say, no, I am that, actually, because growth is constant and eternal. But through some very, very painful experiences, you can read about them on my website and my blogs, I finally have come to the realization that I am love, and I feel fully complete within myself, and I'm not looking outside myself anymore for anything or for anyone. It's been a long journey. Now I'm a priestess of love and sacred sexuality, and everything that I do is about guiding, empowering, inspiring, and teaching women especially, but of course men too, to wake up and to live as truly empowered sovereign beings and step into their highest and fullest potential. That's what I'm here for. That is my soul's path. So that's a little bit about me. It's been quite a journey, and it hasn't finished yet. So the goddess growth path is what I've called this, because there are ways that we put out about personal development into the world, and there are kind of recognized ways that we think growth needs to happen. And I think that it's different to maybe a mainstream perception, but let's see. I came up with 11 different points, and of course I'm not going to be able to talk about them all. There won't be the time for that. I'm just going to go through a few of them. So goddess growth takes us on a spiral path. So that's why I got us to do that movement at the beginning. It's a spiral path, and in this spiral so it's not linear, it's spiral. It goes in circles, and in my experience the spiral takes us down. So we go in and we go deep to our inner being, we discover something, we release something, we might go all the way down into a dark night of the soul, perhaps. And then we spiral back up and we bring back with us what we have learned, and we apply it and integrate it. And then there'll be another new learning, and down we go again, down and up. Except each time we go down, we're not going down to the same place. We're going down to a higher place, as it were. So there is an expansion that's constant. There's a growth that is constant. But for me, a goddess growth path is more of a spiraling than a linear I get from point A to point B. No, it goes like this. Being on a goddess growth path, we heal, we empower, and we transform. So change is not an option, it's an imperative in working with the energy of Shakti. So we have to be ready for change and open to transformation. And to the extent that we are, is to the extent that we will grow. Yes, I understand absolutely that we all have fears, and we all have blocks, and we all have wounds, and we all have thoughts that limit us. I do, absolutely, as much as anyone else. But it's how much am I willing to grow and to let go of that. Goddess growth is not always pretty, and it doesn't always feel good. So again, just to kind of be aware as we open to more ecstasy, so we open to the potential for more of the opposite of that. But we grow in our capacity to process, navigate, and transmute deeper, darker, more intense feelings and emotions and experiences. Because ultimately we begin to recognize that that too is just energy. So it doesn't always look pretty, and it doesn't always feel good. I can assure you that I have been down on my knees many times, begging for mercy, asking why, thinking that maybe death was the only way out. So I've really been through my dark nights of the soul, a few of them. My next point is that the goddess growth path requires us to embrace our dark and our light. So it's not all about going towards the light, it's actually about the full integration of our whole self, and really especially shining our light on the bits that we have hidden, denied, repressed, suppressed, been afraid to show others, think are unlovable. That's the most important part of this work. And this play is embracing our shadows. So only in that can we come into wholeness. So it really isn't all about it's not at all about spiritual bypassing and only being the light and only looking at the light. This growth path asks us to embody our newfound awareness and integrate this new awareness on all levels of our being. So it's not about an intellectual understanding, although there's nothing wrong with an intellectual understanding. I read tons. My bookshelf is full of books on tantra, spirituality, personal development, and I love to read and absorb because I have a great intellect, so my intellect loves that. But in my experience of having been on this path for quite a while now, is that yes, it can come in this way, but it takes a while for the intellectual understanding to really become a truth that I know viscerally and live authentically from my body. It's a whole different thing to know something intellectually than to embody it. And in this growth path, we are called to embody. And again, so we can all be at different stages of different parts of integrating, and there's nothing wrong or right about that. We all are where we are, and we are all equal, and we are all valuable, and we are all beautiful exactly as we are, and we're all changing and growing. And integration needs to happen at all levels. So, we can meet ourselves and recognize in others that they can be really aware and conscious in one aspect of their being and then blind to another aspect, just as I can be. So this growth path invites us to a full integration through every chakra, through every part of the body, so that there's a congruence, there's an alignment. Does that make sense? It kind of feels right, doesn't it? Again, although I'm always talking about Shakti in this, she does not exist without Shiva, the divine masculine consciousness. So this growth path is also an eternal dance between those two energies, and needs to be underpinned in a way, or merged with an ongoing development of our witness consciousness. For me, that comes through meditation practice, and also an ongoing inner dialogue with my masculine. So, I recognize that I have wounds, like a wounded masculine and a wounded feminine. And, I've worked a lot with my feminine, but I also need to now, I have been addressing the wounded masculine within myself too, so that they are able to come together and merge and work together in harmony for the purpose that I'm here. That makes sense. The Goddess Growth Path demands our truth and truthfulness. So Shakti is ultimately about truth. And anywhere where we are off the truth, there will be ripples of that come back to show us where we are being inauthentic. It can become very, very subtle. So it does require us to learn to tune in more and more deeply with that inner wisdom and that inner knowing, which again is not about the rational mind, and it's not about being right over somebody else being wrong. That's not what I mean by truth. There's a higher truth, and we know that authentic feeling in our bodies. So we are asked to live and be authentic and honest and in our truth, to speak the truth, to live the truth, to admit the truth, to share the truth. Whatever is bullshit will fall by the wayside, or we'll get some very stark awakenings. Yeah, that's Kali. The Goddess Growth Path expands us into the unknown that is a part of her. She's constantly growing us, so that requires us to let go, to surrender, and to not need to know. And again, this is what the challenge is for so many, is to let go of the need to know and to be willing to surrender to the unknown. And the blessing of this path is that it awakens our dormant potential and ignites the expression of our soul song. So when we hear the call of Shakti, we know, yes, we're being invited to step up into our truth and into our higher purpose, and to really live our potential and begin to lovingly integrate those things that are holding us back from what we're here to be and do. It cultivates our inner wisdom, so no more outer guru, finding the guru within. So important, particularly now in this time when, as you will know, the structures of patriarchy are crumbling, and all of the untruthfulness in the current matrix system is being revealed. And there is so much information proliferating everywhere now, and so many different people claiming to know this and know that. We really need to develop a system, and this is what working with Shakti and the Goddess Growth Path does, to know our own truth and to find our own inner wisdom and be navigated from deep inside, not from outside, because that's going to just drive us bonkers, and we're going to be going chaotically all over the place, and it's going to get crazier and crazier. So we need to find that inner navigation system. And my final point for this growth path is that this is a journey that is fueled by love, and that returns us to sacred union in the heart. So again, previous models of learning used to be based upon the carrot and stick, punishment, control, fear. That's not how this works. We're not here to abuse ourselves, to criticize ourselves, to put ourselves down. We're here to love ourselves and uplift ourselves and return to that knowing, really embodied knowing that we are love, and to bring and shine that love radiantly into the world. And we cannot be that, and we cannot do that unless we embrace this full dimensional, integrated, embodied path of healing, transformation, and growth. Yeah, so let's see. Does anyone have any questions about what I've shared? Because that's quite a download. That's quite a download there that I've just offered. Any questions? Okay. I'll keep looking and I'll keep talking. If anything does come up, I will address it. So I'm going to talk a little bit now about my Awakening Shakti online group program, which is starting. It's going to be launching on October the 28th. The end of this month. So just want to say in brief a few things about this. So I've been giving a lot of thought to how I wish to serve and deliver my wisdom and teachings, and how I wish to structure my life. And so this program is basically what's come out of that. It's the culmination of the last 17 years of my own personal work, all the trainings and initiations I've gone through, all of the awakenings I've had, and the work that I'm still doing. So it really is sort of drawing together everything that I've learned in the last 17 years. Also, just to say, it came as a bit of a download for me about 4 or 5 years ago when I was going through quite a dark night of the soul, and I went to a place of absolute darkness and not knowing. So I had to let go, and I really had to surrender into, I don't know anything. What am I here for? And then out of that letting go, one day I just sat down on the floor in my room and wrote out these 9 headings of the Awakening Shakti. I think I called it the Awakening Woman at that point. And so those headings have been there from that time. And I have delivered workshops, one-day workshops around the themes of these headings since then. But now it's all going to come together and be delivered in the way that it's meant to be, as a full 9-month, so 1 module per month, 1 theme per month course. Just going to put my glasses on because I can see someone's put a comment there. Oh, okay. Yeah, so 1 theme a month, and these are the headings that came to me. As I said, they were kind of a download, and it's like a birth. 9 months from seeding to birthing. It's all encompassing. It integrates, embraces every aspect, as I perceive it at the moment, of what we really need to engage with on our growth. And the other thing about it is that, I guess for me, I've realized that I really love going deep. And you know, people will sometimes come to me having had no experience of any of this work, and they'll say, you know, I want to have tantric sex, or I want to have a Kundalini awakening, or I need to heal this. I'm having this problem in my relationship. And I'm like, yes, you know, you can come to me for a one-to-one session for 1 or 2 times, but that's not really going to address the issue fully. For change to happen, it requires consistent action, it requires commitment, and it requires ongoing practice. So again, it's not about an intellectual understanding and a thinking, oh, I've got it now. Yeah, my mind gets it. No, it goes into the body. So everything I offer has an embodied practice as part of it, and really is because I believe in supporting deep and lasting change, and I don't think that can happen quickly. It has to happen over time. And also, I really love giving my energy and attention to one thing, and that's how I work best. So this is what I want to channel my energy and attention into over the next 9 months to support. Just going to see if anyone's written any questions. No? Okay, cool. So let's see if there's anything else. If you want to know about this program, you can type a comment here underneath the video. You can go to join my Awakening Shakti Facebook group, where I'll be talking about it some more. And tomorrow night's video, when I talk about the final live stream, we're going to be talking about your calling. I will also talk about some more details of the program, so I'll go into a little bit more detail. There is also a link to the web page on my website where it's all set out for you to see. And I will be offering a couple of webinars, free webinars over the next 2 weeks, where anyone who's interested can come on and interact with me, and anyone else who's interested to ask questions, to inquire more, and to have more of an experience as well. So please, if any of that feels resonant for you, then do pop your name below, because really I'm here to serve you, to bring this for the women who are feeling called to know about it. And you know, let's meet and let's engage. You can also go to my website and book a call with me if you would like, if there's something about this program and my work you want to discuss in depth before the webinar, or before applying to join the program. Okay, that's as much as I want to talk about all of this tonight. Just want to say that tonight's gone really quickly. Please continue to comment, please continue to share, ask any questions that you have about anything that I've said. Just a reminder that tomorrow's the last live stream, and the theme of tomorrow's live stream is your calling. So we're going to go into that final realm, okay, of having heard and understood and been touched by all of this. Where are you now being called to go by Shakti? So it's going to be quite exciting. And yeah, let us just tune out together now to close the call. Let's just take a moment. Just going to close my eyes, so I invite you to close your eyes with me. Breathe deeply and fully into your body. To notice the energy shimmering inside and around you. To feel the warmth of your own heart that is beating, the pulsing of your blood, the stirring of your passion and your life force. Just embracing and welcoming your Shakti presence and aliveness. And also welcoming and allowing any emotions that are moving through. It's all welcome. Feeling the heart of the love of the Divine Mother. Aware once again of the circle who have been gathered here for this live stream. And as we bow together in Namaste, hands to heart, just bowing the head, honoring yourself, honoring the Divine Feminine, and honoring everyone who's gathered tonight. Namaste. Thank you for being with me. Sending you all much love. I am off now to teach my Dancing the Goddess workshop, so I won't be able to respond to any comments and questions immediately, but I will get to them. So thank you so very much, and sending you much love. So Satnam.